Hello and welcome. I'm Johanna and I'm not allowed to buy any more fabric, so we are sewing through my stash. Starting off with turning this tacky but somehow wonderful dragon print cotton jersey from the very bottom of a drawer into a cozy pajamas. I bought this fabric to make pajamas for my little brother when he was just 6 or 7 years old. That brother is now 20 and too cool for dragons, but I never will be, so here we are. I began with pouring myself a cup of tea and get some treats, before I started to cut out all of the paper pattern pieces. I'm using a printable pattern that I bought from Etsy that will be linked down below. A lot of these style of pajama patterns is a lot alike, so choose one for your liking. For this pattern you cut out all of the pieces first and then tape them together. Nearly all other printable patterns that I've tried have done the other way around. That first you tape the papers together and then you cut. So read the instructions on how your pattern should be assembled. Then it's time to cut out all of the pieces. This pattern has seam allowance included, but check your pattern if you need to add seam allowance or not. I wanted a little deeper neckline, so I traced the sweater that I like on top of the pattern and drew a new neckline and cut it out. Then I took the new neckline pattern and matched it to the back piece. I had a very limited amount of fabric, so I had to piece the back together a bit, but hopefully you don't have to. Then we can finally start sewing. I start with the top, putting the front and back piece right sides together and sew the side and shoulder seams. If you have a serger at hand, you can use that. I don't, so I'm using this fake serger seam that I have on my machine, but you can use a straighter zigzag stitch. I carefully trim off the axes and press all the seams backwards. Then it's time for sleeves, and it might seem intimidating, but take your time. Start by folding the sleeve right side in and sew together. Then flip the sleeve and align with your shoulder hole. Align the seams at the bottom, then the mark at the top with the shoulder seam and sew around it. Someone once said that you should never sew sleeves on an empty stomach or late at night, and I totally agree. One thing that makes this the perfect beginner sewing project is that it has the sleeve element, but somehow a pajamas is less stressful than starting with a garment for outside use. A pajamas is just for you to enjoy and feel cozy and at home, unless of course you want to wear it outside. For the neckline you can just fold it and stitch it down, or you can use these lace trim elastics. When sewing these, place the lace edge pointing away from the neckline, and using a straight stitch, sew a seam just along the small holes. Then fold the trim inwards, so that just the lace peeks up from the neckline, and sew a new seam on the front of the neckline. Then I do the same with the sleeves, and hem the bottom by folding it in and stitching it in place. With the top done, it's time for the shorts. Start by sewing together the legs. Put one front and one back piece right side together and then sew the outer and inner seams. Then sew the two legs together by aligning the seams and then sew the whole way around. You can do the elastic two ways. One is to make a channel at the top and then feed the elastic through. The other one is to sew in the elastic. This is a bit trickier, but the result is neater. First, you need to measure your elastic around yourself and decide how tight you want the elastic to be. Then sew the elastic into a loop. Measure out the center back and front and then the sides. Then start spacing out the fabric along the elastic. Sew with a straight stitch along the top, stretching the elastic as evenly as you can. Fold the top neatly and sew a seam at the bottom of the elastic while stretching evenly. For the legs I'm doing the same as with the sleeves, but you can also do a simple hem if that is what you prefer.